New York crew. They already have something written down, memorized. And you can tell because it's too smooth.
Funk Flex.
Yeah, no, Sway in the Morning does it. 5 Fingers of Death. And Funk Flex too. Shout out to him too. The artist will come on there and he'll spit something that he written. Only artist I've seen uniquely, you can tell that his craft is that's on a different level from the top of the dome, is Black Thought. And maybe M. But the rest of them jokers, man, they that's written already.
Let me say this.
You know, but
9 times out of 10, real quick. I'm gonna let you get back. 9 times out of 10, there's no way to really know if somebody's freestyling.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
not really.
Yeah,
not really.
And I'm being disrespectful. King Los from B-More, stand up, shout out. His stuff from the top of the dome too, because I done seen Los freestyle and look at things and blend it together. He'd be pointing at stuff and he'd point at your shoes and go like 5-6 bars about your shoes. That's skill.
Yeah.
That is skill.
That takes practice to do that.
Yeah, it does. A lot of practice. But getting back to what I was saying before, back in the day, and this probably big up to you too. You be in a cipher and it be mediocre. You got your confidence up, and then here come the hip hop head with the dreads and the book bag, the backpack.
The backpack rapper.
And then don't let him have a blunt in his ear as a rap.
Yeah.
Yo, you like, why you here, yo?
Fire though. He used to be fire though. You know what I'm saying? That's when like when hip hop was on that level, it really you really had to have some level of mastery in what you did. You know what I'm saying? It was fun. It was fun. And we did it for fun, but also at the same time, you had to know your stuff. You had to have your stuff down. You had to master your own speech. You know what I mean? And like with them ciphers was some of the most impactful, you know what I'm saying, jaw dropping, you know what I'm saying, bugged out, you know what I'm saying, type of verses you just go wild for.
What's the sign? Whoa. What's the sign? As we keeping it 100 here. What's the sign of a person that's weak in a cipher?
A person that's weak in a cipher?
Yeah. What do the rest of the cipher do? Is it a certain way everybody looking? Like this nigga whack, yo, get him up out of here.
When a person is weak in a cipher, they don't even get no airtime. Meaning that cipher is you jump in. It's like hopscotch. You know what I'm saying? It's about a rhythm. It's about timing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when the cipher is going, you know what I'm saying? The person in front of you or the person across, it's not even really in the order. You just jump in with a smooth line.
Yeah, but you get what I'm saying? No, you've been in ciphers before where, you know, everybody may be feeling it. Then that person come in like, say some BS like, look at my shoes. You couldn't walk my shoes. My feet, something. And everybody be looking at this dude like.
But the thing about it was like, everybody had a voice in the cipher. Even if you was whack, you know what I'm saying? You had a voice in the cipher, you know, but what ended up happening most of the time is you was whack, people would just skip over you. They would just jump in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You wouldn't have no airplay. You wouldn't have no airtime, you know what I'm saying?
It happened to me a lot.
You wouldn't have no airtime. You wouldn't have no airtime at all. You know what I'm saying? And then add another component to it. You know what I'm saying? You had the one beatboxer because what you freestyling to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he did the same beatbox all through the night.
I mean, all you needed was something simple. You know what I'm saying? And like you could just go for days and days and days. But that's when hip hop was young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, the good old days. Be in front of the hip hop clubs and battle it out.
Yeah, no doubt. So we doing our top 10 albums of 2018. This was a good year for hip hop this year. 2018 was
It was jumping off. No disrespect to 2017 because I can't really make a judgment on what year was better unless I go back into the archives. But I think 18 got it, yo.
I like the direction that we going, you know what I'm saying? As a culture. It's like we getting back to good work, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, it's like you can rhyme about whatever you want to rhyme about. Your content could be whatever your content, you know, is. As long as you doing it well, you know what I mean? You're gonna find an avenue for it. So, you know, hip hop is all of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, as long as you I think we're in an era now where it takes more than bars. Bars is the icing on the cake. It's always bars is always going to be there. You understand what I'm saying? Bars aren't going nowhere as far as when you're judging the criterion or the level of hip hop or wordsmith or MC. That's never going to leave.
Right.
But we're now in the era where you really don't need bars.
I think that hip hop has evolved, sonically in terms of like bars was a big deal back in the day. And to me, bars is still a big deal, but also at the same time, it's like the instrumentation now is on another page. You know what I'm saying? And people are doing a lot more with their voice inflections. You know what I'm saying? Whether they harmonizing or they auto tuning or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? But so hip hop is evolving into something else, and I like it. You know what I'm saying? As long as we don't let go of the foundation in terms of we acknowledge the time span of hip hop. Like hip hop started here. You know what I'm saying? This is where we're at right now. You know what I mean? And like what in other genres, rock, pop, R&B, whatever the case may be, there's an appreciation in their genre for the whole timeline. You see what I'm saying?
I think hip hop, like you said, is becoming more feeling drawn, emotion, more than anything. Like, do I actually feel where you're coming from? And half of that got to do with, the production, mixing down, the mastering, the artist. What type of mood can you draw people into? Like, for instance, 2 songs that I done, what I'm working on. Summer '98, that's going to be on my album. Submerge. Hopefully, it'll be completed by spring. It gives you, the song gives you that feeling and takes you back to that juvenile or that youth that, was living off of their mother or women at that time.
It's nostalgic.
And you got Jersey Drive, where, like, God was texting, like, it sounds like a movie, like a cinema.
Yeah.
It captures the listener. And that's what type of music that I'm evolving in, artists and music that I'm making that's starting to evolve. It's not just no more, give me a hot beat and let me spin on track.
Right.
Now I wanna grab your ear and take you somewhere. Right. You know what I'm saying? And all that is a collective of rhyme schemes, songwriting, production. All that ties into play because that puts your music on a whole different level.
All of that, absolutely. And I like the evolution, of hip hop and where it's going. You know what I mean? Just to think about how far it's come already. Like literally, like we invented a whole genre that wasn't there before. You know what I mean? Like jazz and the blues. You know what I mean? Like we invented another thing. You know what I mean? And so in that way. I just think our people are like dynamic, you know what I'm saying? And like, wow, like if you just stop and pause for a minute and think of like every artist that's out or that's either, you know what I'm saying, mainstream or underground, when you look at that body of talent, that body of work, it's really jaw dropping, you know what I'm saying? People who you may not even know much about, you know what I'm saying? Underground people or people who are mainstream, like, look at how much talent that is, yo. It's amazing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's stuff that moves the world, you know what I'm saying?
Yep. So we're going to get into our top 10. I'm starting with mine. Do we got to put in particular order?
I guess start from the bottom up. Go from 10 to 1.
The 1 being the best?
1 being the best, yeah.
Okay, all right. So I'm going with 10. What's it? Mick Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
Pieces of a Man. 9, Matt Miller, Swimming. And I wanted that to actually go further down, but it's a hard list for me. That Matt Miller Swimming is dope.
Yeah.
That joint, when we just talked about drawing you in, emotions like that. Yeah. Oh my goodness, man. It took me, it's like I was in there with Matt, like I was watching his life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
When an artist hit their vein like that, you know what I'm saying, hit their stride,
yeah,
it's amazing, you know what I
mean? Number 8, Pusha T, Daytona. Now, this doesn't give me the same emotion and feeling like I'm watching somebody's life in front of me, like Matt Miller's album. Mm-hmm. Like, I felt like I was actually watching his life on screen, you know what I'm saying? But I say this is 8 because Pusha is kicking classic, dope, no pun intended, bars. You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's a bar fest, yo. It's dope, you know what I'm saying? Number 7, Meek Mill's Championship. It's late on my list because he came out
recently.
Yeah. But it gave me such an impact. And Meek Mill's, his album is a mixture of Matt Miller and Pusha. It's going to give you those emotional roller coasters due to the production and what he's saying, and it's going to give you bars and it's going to give you little, some new school trap type feel, Mm-hmm. Number 6, I was just on 7, right? So number 6 will be Lupe Fiasco Manila, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Yeah, Manila.
Very deep. Once again, Lupe, to me, he's the top lyricist of this year. And I had him down as my number 1 pick, but I had to really do some research and put him somewhere. I ain't want to be biased. Very dope album. Content is out of this world. Very deep. Dope. Number 5 is Drake Scorpion. Again, mixture of bars, mixture of emotions and feelings, and he draws you into his world. That's, to me, when an artist, when you're on a certain level, you draw the listener into your world. There's a difference from listening to an album, that's dope. But when you can draw your listener into your world.
Now? Who you talking about right now?
Drake Scorpion.
Oh, yeah, Scorpion, okay.
Number 4, this is the sleeper that I was telling you about.
What's that?
Jim Crow, Uninvited.
Oh, you know. Yeah. That's what's up.
Yes.
Sleeper.
Because it dealt with today's time that has been happening since we landed here on this rock. It dealt with a lot of it deals with a lot of political charge, very intense topics like racism, deals with relationships and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Granted, that is our album. I wish we could have put a little bit more into it, but that's what growth. But it served its purpose for what it was for. So Jim Crow, the Revolution song, Water for Chocolate, Don't Get Beside Yourself, and what is it? Ghetto Boy. So it was a mixture of all those things. What I'm on, 3? Mm-hmm. Bosch, if I'm pronouncing it right, Milky Way. This lacked the bars, but it really had a lot of emotional production. Whoever did Bosch production, and I mean no disrespect, because I didn't check the credits, but y'all did one hell of a job, man. Y'all, Bosch is from Dreamville, and I ain't putting nothing against his pen. For him to be rhyming for 6 years, that's a good step. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
Yeah, but that production saved a lot of that album. That Milky Way production, the production on Milky Way, really drew me in. Number 2 is J. Cole, K.O.D. Mm-hmm. Enough said about that. J. Cole, you already know. And number 1 was Royce da 5'9", Book of Ryan.
Okay, that's a good list, yo.
I had to end it with the Wordsmith.
That's a good.
That's my list for 2018.
That's a good list. Again, 2018 was an amazing year. It's still not over yet, so we might even get some new joints that drop. But it was really hard for me to pick a top 10 because I listened to a lot of joints this year, and I was pleasantly surprised overall with everybody's body of work. You know what I mean? Not to mention also what's happening on the R&B joint.
Oh, that's a whole different list.
R&B is